Good morning, student. In lecture number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21, whatever we have learned, all this topic we have summarized in this lecture. So in the lecture number 15, we have started the analysis of the three-phase full wave converter with some assumptions. So you know that this is a circuit diagram of HVDC converter. Here you can see that this is a three-phase supply, this is a converter transformers, and this is a converters. Here we first understand the operation of this converter as a rectifier. Then after we will discuss that the operation of converter as a inverter. So here you can see that this three-phase supply converter transformer primary is star connected with neutral is grounded, but secondary side star connected is neutral is without grounded. The reason is only that because of the switching operation of these converters, harmonics are generated. So if you provide here the star connection with neutral grounded, so there is a possibility that the harmonic generated by this converter is transferred from this secondary side to primary side. And you know that primary side we have three-phase source. So that to avoid the injection of harmonic from this converter side to the source side, here we have not provided the neutral grounded. Yes, it means that neutral is without a grounded. Or you can connect the secondary of this converter transformer in delta fashions. Here you can also connect this secondary in delta fashion. So there are two configuration of converter transformer. One is primary star connected with neutral grounded, and secondary star connection without grounded. If it is delta connected, then also you can use this type of transformers. Clear? So this converter transformer connect this three-phase supply, provide a three-phase supply to these converters, and which is work as a rectifier. For this, in this all these lectures 15 to 21, we understand the operation as a rectifier. Clear? So to understand that, we first assume that there are three assumptions we have considered. So for the purpose of analysis, we will make the following assumptions. First assumption that the AC system including converter transformer may be represented by the ideal source of constant voltage and frequency in series with the lossless inductance. So here this converter transformer with this source is represented as a constant voltage and frequency as per the assumption in series with the lossless inductance. So here we represent the converter transformers as a inductance, and we assume that the inductance there is no loss happens. So whatever supply three-phase power is applied here from the supply side at the primary side, same power you get at the input of this converters here. It means that this converter transformer act as a lossless converter, so lossless transformers. There is no loss happens in these transformers. It means we assume that 100% efficiency of the transformers. Second assumption that the direct current ID is constant and ripple free. This is justified because of the large smoothing reactor used on the DC side. So as we know that in the inductor placed here at the DC side, you can see in this second figure here, in the HVDC system at the DC side we use the large smoothing reactor. The purpose of using the large smoothing reactor is to smooth out the ripple, to make the ripple magnitude constant or to reduce the ripple magnitude. Clear? So here we assume that this inductance value is very high. Ideally assume that it is infinite. So you not get any ripple in the current waveform. You get the constant DC. So this is the second assumption that ILD is infinite or sufficient that make the ID or direct current constant and ripple free. Third assumption that the valves are ideal switches with zero resistance. It means when it is conducting, at that time it is act as a short circuit or closed switch. So they have provided the zero resistance. When it is open or not conducting, at that time they offer the infinite resistance. So that act as an open circuit. So based on these three assumptions, we have make the analysis of these converters. And this is the equivalent circuit of this figure. So you can see that the supply with this converter transformer is represented by this individual source EA, AB, EC with the series with the source inductance, and this is a lossless inductance. It means there is no loss happens in this inductance. So whatever EA source provide the power, same power you get at this terminal. Yeah. Same for EB and EC phase. And here this inductor, because we assume that ID is constant. So based on this assumption, we can draw this equivalent circuit of these converters. And then first we analyze by assuming that your source inductance is 0 or negligible. It means that there is no effect of this inductance in the output waveform of these converters when it work as a rectifier first. Yeah. And this analysis we conducted based on the firing angle alpha 0. It means with no ignition angle delay. It means firing angle is 0. So for this two assumptions, we first see the waveform. We have already see this waveform in the lecture number 15. I again repeat this. So we first draw the three-phase waveform EA, EB, EC, and alpha is 0. It means whenever phase crossover happens, at that point you provide the firing angle. So here you can see that at this point there is a phase crossover point between A and B phase. So from this point your incoming phase, it means B phase valve come into forward bias. B phase that connects the anode of valve number 3. You can see that B phase valve number 3 anode is connected. So from this phase crossover point, you provide the firing pulse to this valve number 3. So suddenly will start and act as a short circuit, means act as a closed switch. So you can see that after this phase crossover point, valve number 3 start conducting. So at the load side, the upper terminal that gives the value of EB phase. So that EB phase come into picture up to the next phase crossover point, because up to this point EB phase is most positive as compared to other two phases. So at this phase crossover point, again the incoming phase become most positive, phase number C. So that is connected with the anode of valve number 5. You can see that here phase C that is connected with the anode of 5. So from this point valve number 5 will start conducting. So you get whole phase C at the output side. Yeah, same way here you get EA phase because of conduction of valve valve number 1. So this is about positive group. Same about the negative group. So when any phase become most negative, at that time lower group valve is conducting. Lower group valve is valve numbers 4, 6 and 2. Clear? So when you can see that A phase is connected with the valve number 4. So when A phase become most negative, at that time valve 4 is start conducting. Same way when phase B become most negative, valve number 6 is conducting. Same way when C phase become most negative, at that time valve number 2 is start conducting. So you can see that here in this three-phase supply, from this phase crossover point, phase C becomes most negative. Clear? Before that phase B is most negative. So at that time valve number 6 is conducting, because cathode of valve number 6 that is connected with the phase B up to this phase crossover point. After that phase C become most negative, so valve number 2 start conducting. Same way here A phase become most negative, valve number 4 start conducting. Clear? So you can see this conduction period from this phase crossover point. From the positive group, from this to this, valve number 3 is conducting. So this is the conduction duration or valve current, you can say that. Same way from this to this, upper group C phase, so valve number 5 is conducting 120 to 240 degree. Same you can see that from here to here, minus 60 to 60 degree, C phase become most negative, so valve 2 is conducting. So this is a conduction period of upper group valve and lower group valves. Okay? And when you combine these two phases, positive phase and negative phase, that gives a line to line voltage. So you can see that here you get the EAC phase. At that time from the upper group A phase is conducting, from the lower group C phase is conducting. Clear? So the difference between these two phases A and C, it means EA minus EC, you get line to line voltage EAC from this to this period. Same way here from this phase crossover point, B phase become most positive, and from the lower group C phase most negative. So line to line voltage EBC you get in this duration. Same way for other line to line voltages. So this waveform gives a source line to neutral voltage. This is a line to neutral voltage, and this is a line to line voltage. And this B waveform, this gives a conduction of the valve or valve currents for one cycle duration. And this third waveform that shows the phase current. Here this is a phase A. So phase A that is connected with the anode of valve 1 and cathode of valve number 4. So phase A current, that is a combination of valve 1 current and 4. And valve 4 is a negative group. So current flowing from the valve 4 is negative. So that's why here IA, phase A current, is equal to I1 minus I4. So you can see here IA is equal to I1 minus I4. So I hope you understand this analysis that assume the source inductance negligible and without firing angle, means alpha 0. So this is a waveform for this condition. Then after we see that the equation of phase voltage and line to neutral voltage, line to line voltage and line to neutral voltage. So this is a EA, EB and EC, line to neutral voltage, or you can say that phase voltage, and this is a line to line voltage, EAC, EA minus EC, EBA, EB minus EA. Same way you can also derive another equation, EA minus EB also. So this is a phase voltage and line voltage equations. And then after we derive the equation of average direct voltage for this waveform with alpha 0 and source inductance 0. So here you can see that this VD0 is equal to integration from minus 60 degree to 0 of EAC phase. You can see that in the waveform EAC here, starting from minus 60 degree and ending from 0 degree. So at every 60 degree you get the another line to line voltages. So here whatever average of this EAC, same average you get for EBC, because waveforms duration as well as magnitude is same. So for one complete cycle, if you derive the average value, for that you require the only average of one line to line voltage. Clear? So in this one cycle we have take the average of only one line to line voltage, because other line to line voltage averages remain same. So here we take the integration of this EAC from minus 60 to 0 degree, and then we derive this average direct voltage. Clear? So you can see that I take the integration from minus 60 to 0. EAC, that line to line voltage magnitude is root 3 EM cos theta plus 30 degree. You can see that this one EAC is equal to root 3 EM cos omega t plus 30 degree. Here omega t is replaced by theta. So here theta plus 30 degree, not omega t plus 30 degree. Then take the integration, so finally you get this answer 3 root 3 EM by pi, or numerically you can write 1.65 EM. EM is the peak value of line to neutral voltage, and in terms of RMS line to neutral voltage you can also write this equation. So here you can see the relation between peak and RMS value. Peak is equal to root 2 times RMS. So here you can replace this EM by root 2 times line to neutral voltage. So when you multiply with root 2 here, so that becomes root 2 multiplied root 3, so it is root 6. So 3 root 6 by pi into ELN. Or same way you can also write in terms of line to line voltage. So we know the relationship between line to line voltage and line to neutral voltage. So based on that, the equation becomes 3 root 2 divided by pi into line to line voltage. Clear? So this is a mathematical derivation of average direct voltage. You can write this way, VD0 in terms of peak value, in terms of line to neutral voltage as well as line to line voltage. So in example, suppose that peak value is given. So you write down this equation to find out the average direct voltage. Suppose line to neutral voltage is given. You can use this equation. For line to line voltage, you can use this. Clear? So this VD0 that gives the average direct voltage. This is for ideal condition, ideal no load direct voltage, because here we take that alpha 0 and inductance, assume that is negligible. So this is the ideal condition. Actually you cannot neglect the value of source inductance. So this is called as the ideal no load direct voltage. And this is a conduction period at every 60 degree duration. You can see that minus 60 to 0, 1 and 2 valves are conducting. Omega t is equal to 0 to 60, 3 to conducting. Same way for next 60 degree, different valves are conducting. So at every 60 degree, only 2 valves are conducting, one from the upper group and one from the lower group. Clear? So this is the ideal operation. Valve switching sequence with no ignition delay and no overlap. Because inductance is 0, so there is no overlap happens. Now, second analysis, we see that with ignition delay, it means our first assumption is remain same, neglect the effect of source inductance. You can see that our analysis start from here, say that assume the negligible source inductance, that remain as it is. But first we analyze with no ignition delay means alpha 0, but now we analyze with alpha, it means with ignition delay, but this condition is remains same, negligible source inductance. So for that we have seen the waveform here. So you can see that here alpha is taken. So you can see that here at every zero crossing instant, after that alpha you provide the firing pulses to the next phase valves. Clear? So you can see that here from this phase crossover point, B phase become most positive, it means valve number 3 come into forward bias. But at this zero crossing instant, do not provide the firing pulses, because alpha is, there is some value 10 degree or 20 degree. So after this phase crossover point, you provide the firing angle delay alpha, and after the end of this firing angle delay, your valve 3 will start conducting. So you can see that from this phase crossover point, if you count the alpha, and this ends here, start from here and ends here. So from this point your valve 3 will start conducting. Clear? So you can see that you get the EB phase after this alpha. Clear? Same way, after each and every phase crossover point, you can see that after the alpha, the next phase come into picture. Same way here, you can see that after this phase crossover point, after the alpha, you get the EC phase here. Clear? Same way here, after this alpha, you get the EA phase. Clear? Same way from the negative group here, after this alpha, you get the EC phase. Clear? So up to this point, this phase valves is remaining conducting. This phase EB phase, cathode of valve number 6 is connected. So valve number 6 is conducting up to this point. Clear? Even after this phase crossover point, because next phase EC, the valve number 2 is not still fired. Clear? Even after this forward bias, after this phase crossover point, but whenever you provide the gate pulse, then and then your valve will start conducting. Clear? But here you provide this alpha, so at alpha degree your valve will start conducting. So that's why here at alpha your valve number 2 will start conducting. So same way you can again draw the line to line voltage, which is the difference between positive phase and negative phase difference. So you can see that this highlighted area, this voltage EA minus this voltage EC, so that gives a EAC. And you can see that starting from here, you can see that first phase crossover point of EC phase starting here. So whenever the EC phase you get at the load side, means at alpha here minus 60, this is minus 60, plus alpha you get EC phase. At that time here EF is already started from this point minus 120 plus alpha. So from this point when EC phase start, it means valve 2 start conducting, at that point you get the EAC phase. Yeah, because already EA phase is conducting, valve number 1 is conducting from this point minus 120 plus alpha. So whenever here your C phase valve number 2 start conducting at this alpha here, at that point the EAC phase start. You can see that here. And once your EA phase becomes stop, it means valve number 1 stop conducting, at that time the EAC phase becomes 0. So you can see that at this point the valve number 1 stop conducting, because the next phase EB phase valve number 3 start conducting from this alpha. Clear? So up to this point your valve 1 is conducting. So you get EAC phase from this point to this point. Clear? Same way for the next line to line voltages. Clear? So this is a line to line voltage and this is a line to neutral voltage, or you can say that phase voltage. And this is the conduction duration of the valve or valve current. So this dotted line shows that this is the conduction period minus 120 to 0. That is for alpha 0. Clear? But when you take any alpha, so you can see that it starts from minus 120 plus alpha here and it end at 0 plus alpha here. Clear? So it means that the conduction period is shifted, but the conduction duration is remains same. 120-degree conduction duration of each wall, that is remains same. Only conduction period or conduction duration is changed. It means position of the conduction of the wall, that is changed. Duration is remains same. Position of the wall conduction is changed. I hope it is clear to you. So this is a with ignition angle delay. Clear? Same way, derive the average direct voltage equation. So here again I take this EAC phase. So you can see that here EAC phase you get at minus 60 plus alpha. You can see that from this phase crossover point, this phase crossover point is minus 60-degree and this is alpha. So EAC phase start from minus 60 plus alpha and it is end at alpha degree. This is 0-degree and this is alpha. So take the integration from minus 60 plus alpha to alpha degree of EAC phase, and we know that EAC phase is root 3 EM cos theta plus 30-degree. Clear? So here this is minus 60 plus alpha, or you can write alpha minus 60 to alpha, and we take base pi by 3 because we take integration for the duration of 60-degree. Clear? So it is 1 upon pi by 3, or you can write that 3 by pi integration minus 60 plus alpha to alpha EAC, which is root 3 EM cos theta plus 30 into d theta. Here again omega t is replaced by theta. So finally expression you get simplification Vd0 cos alpha. It means that here when you consider the firing angle delay in your operation of the three-phase converter, at that time the average direct voltage output is depend upon the firing angle delay, or it is a function of firing angle delay. So you can see that your average direct voltage is equal to Vd0 cos alpha. So when alpha is 0, at that time you get the maximum value of direct voltage, and as alpha is increases from 0 to 90, that magnitude is decreases, and at 90 we know that cos 90 is 0. So at alpha 90 your average direct voltage becomes 0. So why it becomes 0 average direct voltage? Because at that time whatever magnitude you get in the positive phase, same magnitude you get in the negative phase. So average becomes 0. You can see here in the waveform, at that time what will happen at 90-degree? Whatever magnitude you get for the positive phase, same magnitude you get for the negative phase. So when you take the difference between two phases, upper and lower group, that becomes 0. So at that time you get the 0 direct voltage. Clear? Line to line voltage at that time becomes 0. So this is the analysis with the assumption that with firing angle delay, and then after we understand that the phase displacement between the phase voltages and line current. So as you know that in the HVDC system, at the converter side, both the side, receiving side and sending side, we require the reactive power source. The reason of that, the requirement of the reactive power source is that we cannot transmit the reactive power from one end to another end through the HVDC system. And at the HVDC system, both the side we have converters. So because of the converters, they have different firing angles. So the phase voltage and phase current has a different phase signal relationship. So because of that, the phase difference between voltage and current, they require the reactive power. So you can say here graphically, here we take the phase A as a reference here. This is the supply A phase, and with alpha 0, the phase A current, you can see that in same phase with the phase A voltage. Clear? Or you can phasor diagram, you can see here, this is EA phase. This is the EA phase that represents the phase of EA. IA1, that is a fundamental component of phase A current. So both are in same phase because alpha is 0. So when you increase your alpha, firing angle delay, what will happen? The phase relationship between EA and fundamental component of phase current, there is increasing in the same proportion of alpha. When alpha 30, the angle difference between IA1 and EA becomes also 30. We will see in the later on why. So you can see that same way as increasing alpha, the phase difference between voltage and current is increasing. Here. So what will happen as the phase difference increases, power factor is deteriorated. So power factor deteriorated, it means what? The converter not get the sufficient reactive power, and because of that the power factor is deteriorated. Clear? So that's why at the converter side, both the end we require the reactive power source because of this phase displacement between voltage and current due to the different alpha. Clear? So this is a phase displacement relationship between voltage and current, and mathematically we derive then after that by taking this line or phase current, this waveform, and we derive the equation of peak value of the fundamental frequency current, and we derive this equation that peak value of the fundamental frequency current is 2 pi by root 3 into id, and then after we derive the equation of RMS value. So this equation is a peak value of fundamental frequency component divided by root 2, so that gives the RMS value of fundamental frequency component. So you get root 6 by pi times id, and then after we analyze that and assume that the losses in the converter is neglected because we assume that the effect of source inductance is negligible. So whatever supply is provided from the primary side, same power you get at the secondary side. So supply power to this converter 3 into line to neutral voltage into line current into cos phi is equal to output current into voltages. ID is the DC voltage, ID is the DC current, and VD is the direct voltage. So that gives the DC power and that gives the AC power. So here we assume that losses in the converter is neglected. We already assume that the converter transformer is also lossless because we neglect the effect of L. So whole converter is act as a ideal converter. So whatever three-phase power applied to the converter, this one, same power you get at the DC side. So here we equalize both the things. So as we derive the equation of VD, average direct voltage, which is equal to VD0 cos alpha, so put here into ID. Here ELN, that is the RMS value of line to neutral voltage. This one is RMS line to neutral voltage. And this phi is, that is nothing but angle by which fundamental current is lagged behind the line to neutral voltage. So put this value here, IL1, we already derived this fundamental components, RMS value here root 6 by pi ID. So put here in this equation, so it becomes root 6 pi ID, 3 into ELN here, and cos phi is equal to VD0 we already derived without alpha, we derive the equation 3 root 6 by pi ELN. In the first assumption alpha 0, you can see that we have already derived this equation. Yes, VD0 is 3 root 6 ELN divided by pi. So put this here. Here, replace this VD0 by this 3 root 6 by pi into ELN into ID into cos phi. So after simplification, you get this power factor cos phi. This power factor is equal to cos alpha. You can see that ELN cancel out, root 6 cancel out. So finally you get this this left hand side cos phi and right hand side cos alpha. It means that your power factor is equal to cos alpha. So that's why this phase relationship, you can see that as the alpha is increasing, the phase relationship between voltage and current is increasing, because in the proportion of alpha your phi is also increasing. Clear? Because cos phi is equal to cos alpha, it means phi is equal to alpha. So here when alpha becomes 30 degree, so phase difference between voltage and current is also 30 degree. Clear? So as you increase the alpha firing angle delay, what will happen? Power factor is decreases. Clear? Now in the third analysis, we assume that including the effect of inductance of source. So here in both these assumptions, both the assumptions, we assume that the converter transformer source inductance is negligible. You can see that this is the analysis assuming negligible source inductance. It means we not consider the effect of this source inductance in the analysis of these converters when we draw the output waveform here. But now we consider the effect of the source inductance and we want to show that what is the actual converter operation happens when we consider the actual effect of the source inductance and what is the waveform at the output side. So now understand this analysis. So this analysis including the commutation overlap. So because of this source inductance effect we consider in the analysis of three-phase converter, because of that commutation overlap happens. So due to the inductance LC of the AC source, the phase current cannot change instantaneously. Therefore, the transfer of current from one phase to another there requires a finite time, and that is called as a commutation or overlap time. So what is the main meaning of this sentence? Due to the conductance LC of AC source, the phase current cannot change instantaneously. It means that you can see here in this waveform, both this analysis, here you can see that at alpha when you fire the valve number 3 because B phase positive, so at that time suddenly current is changed from EA phase to EB phase. You can see here the current waveform or valve current. From this point instantly the valve 1 current becomes off and valve 3 current will start. Clear? Why? Because here we not consider the effect of LC. But when we consider the effect of LC, at that time this transition not happen suddenly or instantaneous. Clear? That takes some times like this way. Current flowing from the valve is decreasing and current flowing from the valve 3 is increasing. So transition from valve 1 to valve 3 that takes some time, and that time is nothing but the commutation time. Clear? So that meaning of this sentence says that the phase current cannot change instantaneously because of this effect of inductance. Clear? And therefore the transfer of current from one phase to another phase or one valve to another that takes some finite time, and that is called as a commutation time or overlap time. Generally the value is between 15 to 25 for full load value, and this is denoted by mu. During the commutation overlap, when this commutation happens, transition from one phase to another phase, at that time the three valves are conducting at the same time. Otherwise only two valves are conducting for the period 60 minus nu if alpha is 0. If firing angle 0 and we consider the effect of this LC, so as we know that every 60 degree commutation happens. Clear? So if commutation happens, so during this nu 3 valves are conducting and 60 minus nu only 2 valves are conducting when your alpha is 0 with no firing angle delay. If firing angle delay is present, then it is conducting, 2 valves are conducting for the period 60 minus nu plus alpha. Clear? So let's understand this operation with consideration of overlap, with consideration of source inductance as well as firing angle alpha. So for that, to make the differentiate between these two conditions, here we first see the first case when alpha 0 and nu 0. Nu 0 it means we not consider the effect of source inductance. So this is a waveform of valve conduction or valve current that we already see in the first analysis when alpha 0 and source inductance is negligible. Clear? But when we consider this case when nu is 20, it means commutation overlap is happens. When we consider the effect of source inductance and when alpha is 0. So at that time you can see that here normally phase crossover happens here at the 0 degree between A and B phase. Clear? So at this point you can see that valve number 1 slowly decreasing its current and valve number 3 current is increasing, and at this point at the end of this commutation time valve number 3 is completely on and valve number 1 it becomes completely off. So this transition period from one valve to another valve or one phase to another phase, because valve 1 is connected with the phase A, valve 3 that is connected with the phase B. So this is a transition of one phase to another phase that takes some time, and this time duration is nu, and that is called as a commutation time or overlap time. Clear? That because of the source inductance. It is, we know the characteristic of inductance that the current flowing from the inductance cannot change instantaneously. And because of this property, the current is not changed instantaneously here. Clear? Because we consider the inductance, source inductance. So that's why current flowing from the inductance is gradually, not instantaneously. And because of that, this overlap happens or commutation happens. So during this commutation, you can see that from this upper group, valve 1 and 3 both are conducting. Here in this duration, valve 1 is not off. It is off at this point, at the end of this commutation time. Clear? And valve 3 start conducting here. Valve 1 is already conducting. So from this duration, valve 1 and 3 is conducting from the upper group, and from the lower group already valve 2 is conducting from this point. Clear? So at that time, 3 valves are conducting, 1, 3 and 2. Same way from the next 60-degree commutation time, again 3 valves are conducting. Clear? So except the commutation time, only 2 valves are conducting. So you can see that here, between 6 and 2, commutation duration, both the 6 and 2 is conducting here, and from the upper group, valve 1 is conducting. So 1, 2 and 6, all are conducting in this duration, in this new. Except that 60 minus new, only 2 valves are conducting, 1 and 2. From here, only valve 2 is conducting, valve 6 becomes completely off from this point. So only valve 1 and 2 is conducting up to this point. Because after this point, again, upper group, valve 1 and 3 both are start conducting. Clear? So this new period, 1, 2 and 3 is conducting. Same way, from this 60 minus new, only 2 and 3 is conducting. So it means that during the commutation, 3 valves are conducting, and except the commutation period, only 2 valves are conducting. But this is a conduction period when nu is 20 and alpha is 0. Here alpha is 0. Clear? Now we understand this effect of commutation overlap with ignition delay. It means when alpha is present, when nu is present. Clear? It means we consider the effect of source inductance as well as we apply the firing angle delay. Clear? So at this time, what is the conduction of valve? So here in your book, this some mistake is given here. You can see that here this alpha is presented here, but actually that is a new overlap time. Your alpha is actually starting from here to here, and this is a new. So alpha plus new, that is a delta angle. Here it is so on, it is right. This is new, but this is wrong. This is not alpha. Your alpha is this one. Clear? So here I again draw this waveform in my notebook and show you that how actually it is look like the conduction duration when you consider alpha as well as nu overlap time. So this is a phase crossover point, omega t is equal to 0 between A and B phase. So from this point to alpha, what will happen? During the alpha, your valve number 1 is still conducting, because after the alpha, your next valve will start conducting. So here, after this phase crossover point, B phase valve number 3 will start conducting at the end of the alpha, because at the end of the alpha, you provide the firing pulse. So this alpha, starting from here, omega t is equal to 0. We calculate from this point, phase crossover point. Alpha is end here. It means at this point, you provide the firing pulse to the valve number 3. Clear? But because of the effect of inductance, because of the commutation time, it takes some time to completely conduct. So here you can see that from this point, when alpha is end, suppose this alpha is 10 degree, clear, and this is a 0 degree. So after this 10 degree, your valve 3 start conducting, and current flowing from the valve 3 is increasing. At the same time, current flowing from the valve 1 is decreasing. Clear? So you can see that this commutation time, valve 1 and 3 both are conducting. So that the highlighted area of conduction of valve number 1, starting from here, it's end here completely. It means at this point, current flowing from the valve 1 is 0. It means that is act as an off switch, and current flowing from the valve 3 is ID, or ID is equal to I3. Clear? So at this point, the valve 3 completely on. So this transition period is because of overlap angle, and this time is required because you provide the alpha. Clear? So in ideal condition, we see that the first waveform, when alpha is 0 and no commutation overlap, at that time val 3 start from here. Clear? Because alpha is 0, so this duration is not presented, and commutation period is also 0 because we not consider the effect of source inductance. So at that time your val 3 start conducting from 0 and it is end at 120 degree here. But now with alpha and with nu, the 3 will start conducting from this point, alpha plus delta, alpha plus nu, or you can say that angle delta, which is called as the extinction angle. So from this point start conducting and it is ends here. Same like here, this is a phase crossover point. This 120 degree, that is a phase crossover point between val number 3 phase, which is EB, and val number 5 phase, which is phase C. So this is a phase crossover between EB and EC. Clear? You can see that 120 degree in the waveform, 3 phase waveform. Here you can see that this is a phase crossover point at 120 degree between B and C phase. B phase upper group val number 3 is connected, and C phase upper group C is connected. Val number 5 is connected. So here alpha is calculated from this phase crossover point. So this is your alpha. Here alpha is end, and from this point the commutation angle starts and it is ends here. Yeah. So at this point your val number 3 is completely off and val number 5 is completely on from this point. So between this duration, in this commutation duration, the val number 3 and 5 both are conducting at the same time. 3 and 5 are the upper group valves, and from the lower group valves, val number 4 is conducting at that duration. So there are 3 valves are conducting, 3, 5 from the upper group and val number 4 from the lower groups. Here, so this is the conduction period of val number 5 starting from here, and it is ending at the next commutation time at 240 plus delta here. So here I highlighted the conduction duration of the valve when it is completely on. So you can see that here valve number 5 is completely on after the over of the commutation time, and from this point the valve number 5 is completely off. Clear? Same way here from the negative group valves. So you can see that here minus 60 degree, that is a phase crossover point between B and C phase. As you know that the B phase that is connected with the cathode of valve number 6, and C phase that is connected with the cathode of valve number 2. So from this phase crossover point at omega t is equal to minus 60 degree, the valve number 2 that come into forward bias, because phase number C becomes most negative as compared to this B phase. Clear? So from this phase crossover point we calculate the alpha for valve number 2. So alpha start from here and it is ends here. Yeah. So after the end of this alpha, the commutation period starts. So it means that during this commutation period, the valve number 2 starts conduction and valve number 6 start to commutate or start to off. So during this period from here to here, both the valve 6 and 2 are conducting. Clear? And at the end of this commutation time, here the valve number 6 which is completely off and valve number 2 which is completely on. So this is a conduction period of valve number 2 here from this point to this point. Clear? At the end of the commutation period after the 60 degree. Clear? Same as here, you can see that at 60 degree that is a phase crossover point between A and C phase. Clear? So from this point the phase A becomes most negative. So valve number 4 come into forward bias, but you provided the alpha. So after the alpha you provide the gate pulse to valve number 4. So valve number 4 will start conducting after the end of this alpha, and because of commutation time it takes some time to completely on. So at the end of this commutation time the valve number 4 is completely on and the valve number 2 is completely off. So conduction period of valve number 4, that is start from here and it is end at 180 plus delta here. This one is delta and this crossover point is 180. Same for the next period. So this is the effect of commutation overlap with ignition angle delay or firing angle delay. I hope you understand this conduction duration of the valves. So you can see that here I have written that at the beginning of the commutations omega t is equal to alpha. So at the beginning of commutation means at the end of alpha, here the value of current I1 is equal to ID. Here we are talking about the commutation between valve number 1 and 3. So at the end of commutation at the end of alpha, at the beginning of commutation, the current flowing into the valve 1 is equal to total direct current. You can see that at this point the valve 3 is completely off. Clear? At this point, at the end of alpha, only valve 1 is conducting. So at that time current flowing into the valve 1, that is equal to direct current, total current. Clear? At that time I3 is 0, current flowing into the I3 is 0. Because after this alpha, the current flowing from the valve number 3 starts. You can see that here, this red line, that is a transition period from valve 1 to valve 3. So at the end of commutation, it means at this point, alpha plus nu, at the end of this commutation, the current flowing into valve 1 means I1 is 0. So you can see that here, the I1 is 0. It means valve number 1 is completely off. And I3, current into the valve 3, that is equal to direct current. So you can see that the DC side in the converter, the current is equal to current flowing into the valve number 3. Clear? So because of these commutations, here we draw the equivalent circuit during this commutation between valve 1 and 3. So you can see that during this commutation period between 1 and 3, the 3 valves are conducting, upper group 1 and 3 conducting, and from the lower group valve number 2 is conducting. So for this commutation period, here we draw the equivalent circuits of your converters. So here I show the valves which are conducting 1, 3, upper group, valve number 2 from the lower groups. So here, because of commutation, both the valves are conducting simultaneously. So here we take the voltage difference between these two phases. So here EB voltage of B phase, EA voltage of A phase. So difference between these two voltages, these two phases, EB minus EA, this equation EB minus EA is equal to voltage drop across this inductance of phase B minus voltage drop across the inductance of phase A. So LC di3 by dt, that gives a voltage drop across this inductance, minus LC di1 by dt, that gives a voltage drop across this phase A inductance. So the voltage EB minus EA, that is called as a commutating voltage because that happens during the commutation. So as we know that the EB minus EA, that is the EBA line to line voltage, and that's value is root 3 EM sine omega t. Clear? If you write in terms of sine function. If you write in terms of cosine function, then it is a root 3 EM cos omega t plus 30 degree. But here I write in terms of sine term, so it is root 3 EM sine omega t is equal to this one LC di3 by dt minus LC di1 by dt. So as we know that here the DC side total current ID, that is equal to what? During commutation when valve 1 and 3 conducting, that is equal to current flowing into the valve 1 plus current flowing into the valve 3. So here you can use the KCL at this node. So incoming current is I1 and I3 is equal to outgoing current, which is nothing but ID. So you can write that this ID is equal to I1 plus I3. So here based on that the equation of I1 becomes what? ID minus I3. So if you take the differentiation with respect to time, so that becomes di1 by dt is equal to differentiation of ID. ID is constant current, direct current constant. So the differentiation of constant is 0. This 0 here minus differentiation of I3 with respect to time. So it is minus di3 by dt. So here you can see that in this equation di1 by dt. So this di1 by dt, that is replaced by this minus di3 by dt. So here minus di3 by dt is replaced. So that becomes minus minus plus. So that becomes 2 LC di3 by dt. So here final equation becomes EB minus EA is equal to root 3 EM sin omega t is equal to 2 LC di3 by dt from these equations. Clear? So di3 by dt from this equation becomes what? Root 3 EM sin omega t divided by this 2 LC. So here we want to find out the current I3. So for that take the integration. So take the integration of this equation. So here you can see that integration from 0 to I3 di3 root 3 EM divided by 2 omega LC root 3 EM 2 LC, that is constant. So root 3 EM 2 LC constant, and here we take the integration from alpha divided by omega and t. So why we take alpha divided by omega? So here at this period we take angle alpha is equal to, at this period angle is what? Omega t is equal to alpha. So t is equal to what? Alpha divided by omega. So that's why we take integration from alpha divided by omega to the time period t. Clear? And here integration of sin omega t. So final simplification of this integration is becomes this integration of di3 becomes I3 is equal to root 3 EM 2 omega LC. Why it is omega? Because integration of sin omega t is what? With respect to t minus cos omega t divided by omega, because here we take integration with respect to time, not with respect to omega t. So integration of sin omega t with respect to time, it is minus cos omega t divided by omega. So this omega is because of the integration. So root 3 EM divided by 2 LC into omega, and the integration we get minus cos omega t, and for that alpha divided by omega to t, so you get the expression cos alpha minus cos omega t. We already derived this equation in the last lecture, so you know that how you get this equation. So finally you get I3 is equal to IS2 cos alpha minus cos omega t. IS2 is nothing but root 3 EM root 3 EM divided by 2 omega LC, this one. Yeah. So here we know that because of this commutation, what will happen? The voltage at the load side that will reduce. So that we mathematically derive here. So during the commutation, you can see the equivalent circuit between valve 1 and 3. Here the voltage at this node is VA, at this point it is VB. So what is the potential at this VB? So it is same as whatever the potential at VA, because both are conducting during the commutation. Clear? So there is no potential difference between this point and this point, because both are conducting. So we can say that VA is equal to VB. So what is the magnitude of VB? So VB is nothing but your source voltage EB minus voltage drop across this inductance. So we can say that VA is equal to VB is equal to EB minus LC di3 by dt. I3 is the current flowing into this phase. So VB is equal to EB minus LC di3 by dt. So here I write this equation. VA is equal to VB is equal to EB minus LC di3 by dt. So LC di3 by dt, as we see that in the last expression here, this expression LC di3 by dt, that is equal to what? EB minus EA divided by this 2 comes here. So we can replace this LC di3 by dt by EB minus EA by 2. Clear? So here this LC di3 by dt, that is replaced by EB minus EA by 2 and put here in this equation. So that finally becomes VA is equal to VB is equal to EB minus this EB minus EA by 2, that is in bracket. So finally you get EA plus EB by 2. So this voltage is nothing but a voltage during this commutations. This VA is equal to VB is equal to EA plus EB by 2. That is a voltage during commutation between valve number 1 and 3. And this voltage is lower than your EB voltage. Here, this is a EB voltage. But during the commutation, voltage is reduced and becomes how much? EA plus EB by 2. So this is a wave shape of EA plus EB by 2. You know that after the alpha, if you not consider the commutation overlap, so what will happen, your wall number 3 is completely on, so that directly jump to this phase B, so you get the EB phase. But because of the commutation happens between wall number 1 and 3, you get the voltage only this one, which is EA plus EB by 2. So it means that in your output voltage, this much of voltage is reduced. This is highlighted by in this waveform. So this much of voltage is reduced, and the area of this voltage reduction is A nu. So we derive the mathematically that how much magnitude of voltage is reduced because of these commutations. So this is a waveform of only commutation happens between wall number 1 and 3. Clear? So from this waveform we understand that, and we derive the equation that how much voltage is reduced during the commutations. So first, to derive the equation, we need to find out this A nu. A nu is what? The area which is reduced because of the commutation. So you can see that this area A nu, that is reduced because of commutation. So we first find out this area. So how to find out this area? So by integration we can find out this area. So this area is starting from here. So this angle is how much? This angle is alpha, and end of this area is at this point. So what is this area? That is alpha plus nu, or you can say that delta. So we take the integration from this point to this point. It means from angle alpha to angle delta. Clear? So here you can see that I take the integration from alpha to delta. The integration of what? The voltage difference between this voltage, between this voltage and this voltage. So what is the voltage at the end of the commutation here? So you can see that at the end of the commutation here, the voltage at the output side is EB. And what is the voltage at the starting of commutation? So that is EA plus EB by 2. So here we take integration from alpha to delta of this voltage difference EB minus this bracket EA plus EB by 2. So here you can see that EB minus EA plus EB by 2 and multiply with the d theta, because we take integration with respect to theta. Here omega t is replaced by theta. So after simplification of this, that becomes EB minus EA by 2, and we know that EB minus EA, that is the EBA phase. In terms of sine, we can write root 3m sine omega t. So replace this EB minus EA by root 3m sine omega t, divide by these two, again take integration of sine, so that is minus cos theta. Clear? So after that you get simplification, root 3 em by 2 cos alpha minus cos delta. So this is the only area in the waveform where it is reduced because of commutation. But we want to find out how much voltage is reduced, average voltage is reduced. So for that, here we consider the case of only one commutation, only 60-degree period. Clear? So how much average voltage drop in this area? So that is nothing but the area under this curve, under this highlighted part, divided by the duration in which this voltage is reduced. So in this duration, in 60-degree, every 60-degree this commutation happens. So at every 60-degree this much of voltage is reduced. So average voltage drop at every commutation is nothing but this area A nu divided by pi by 3. So you can see that the voltage drop is nothing but delta VD is equal to area, this area A nu divided by pi by 3, the duration in which this voltage is reduced. So pi by 3 divided, so here it is 3 pi by pi, 3 by pi, and the value of A nu that we derive here, root 3 m by 2 cos alpha minus cos delta. So as we know that the value of 3 root 3 em divided by pi, that is nothing but VD0. We already derived in the previous lecture, lecture number 15. This is a VD0 is no-load ideal voltage. So we replace the here 3 root 3 em by pi by VD0 divided by 2, and this cos alpha minus cos delta. So here in the previous slide, here you can see that we derive the equation of I3 here. So the same equation here I write. This I3 is equal to root 3 em divided by 2 omega LC cos alpha minus cos omega t. So same equation I here write here. So at the end of commutation, what will happen? You can see in this waveform, at the end of this commutation, what is the angle? Omega t is equal to delta. Clear? And what is the current at the end of this commutation? because only one number 3 is conducting. So I3 is equal to what? Your direct current. Clear? During the commutation it is I1 plus I3, but at the end of the commutation only current I3 is flowing. So you can see that here, the next slide, this equation becomes at the end of commutation omega t is replaced by delta and I3 is replaced by ID. So this equation of I3 becomes ID, because I3 is replaced by ID, is equal to root 3 Em divided by 2 omega LC cos alpha minus cos delta. Here omega t is replaced by delta, and this value is nothing but is2. So is2 cos alpha minus cos delta. So in this equation you can see that root 3 Em divided by 2 cos alpha minus cos delta, that is equal to ID multiply this omega into LC. This omega into LC comes here, multiply. So you can replace this root 3 Em by 2 cos alpha minus cos delta by the value ID into omega LC. So you can see in the previous slide here, the value root 3 Em by 2 cos alpha minus cos delta in the equation of delta Vd. So this value from here to here, this value you can replace by ID into omega LC. So here you can write again the equation of delta Vd is equal to 3 by pi, as it is 3 by pi, and this value is replaced by ID into omega LC. Replace this value. Clear? So you can also write the delta Vd as these equations, or you can also write these equations. Clear? So when we calculate the example based on the given data, you can use any equations. You can understand how to use the equation during the examples. We will calculate the example in the next lecture. So this delta Vd becomes 3 by pi ID omega LC. So finally, how much voltage you get at the rectification side, at the rectifier side, if you operate the converter as a rectifier? So without commutation, we derive the equation of average direct voltage is Vd0 cos alpha. But with the consideration of commutation, this much of voltage is reduced, delta Vd. So subtract this delta Vd from the Vd0 cos alpha. So the Vd, that is your final voltage, final average direct voltage you get at the rectifier ends. Clear? Because this voltage is reduced because of commutation. So this voltage is nothing but with the consideration of commutation, or you can say that consideration of leakage inductance, source inductance, as well as consideration of ignition angle delay alpha. Clear? So here again you can write this equation another way. So you can see that this becomes Vd0 cos alpha minus Rc into Id. So here this voltage drop, because of commutation, we represented as a voltage drop across the resistance. Here there is no any physical resistance in the converter, but here we represent this commutation voltage drop as a voltage drop across the resistance. So here we write delta Vd as a Rc into Id. So Rc is what? You can see in this equation, delta Vd, there is a current Id. So Rc becomes 3 by pi into omega Lc. So Rc is 3 by pi omega Lc, or you can write 3 by pi Xc, because omega Lc is Xc. So here you can represent in the electrical equivalent circuit this voltage drop delta Vd during the commutation as a voltage drop across the resistance. I again repeat, there is no any physical resistance in the converter, but this Rc represents the effect of commutations. So when we draw the equivalent circuit, you can see here in the next slides. So the source voltage is Vd0 cos alpha. This is the voltage without commutations. Clear? As you know that during the commutation, the voltage drop, that is delta Vd. So this delta Vd is replaced by the resistance RCR into Id, current flowing at the DC side. You can also write RCR or RC. RCR because here we operate the converter as a rectifier. So here we can say that this is a commutating resistance because of rectification operation of the converters. Into this I, so that becomes delta Vd. So this voltage Vd0 cos alpha minus this voltage, so you get finally Vdr, or you can write as a Vd. You can see here Vd is equal to Vd0 cos alpha minus delta Vd, or Vd0 cos alpha minus Rc into Id. So this direct voltage you get at the rectification side, because your converter acts as a rectifier, that's why you can write here Vdr. So this Vdr is nothing but Vd0 cos alpha minus Rcr into Id. So this is a rectification operation, rectifier mode of operation with consideration of commutation angle and firing angle delay. So in the previous slide, we see only this waveform, line to line voltage. This is a line to line voltage. This is a phase voltage. In the previous waveform, you can see that when we calculate this commutation voltage drop, we saw only this waveform to calculate the delta VD. But now we draw the waveform for full complete cycle 0 to 360 degree. So you can see this full waveform. We already drew this waveform in the last lecture, so you can understand this. And this one is the line to line voltages. So you can see that here from this point the phase B become most positive, but because of alpha, your alpha is ends here, so at this point you provide the firing angle, or sorry, firing pulses to valve number 3. So from this point valve number 3 start conducting, and after that commutation period starts between these 2 points. Valve number 1 and 3 both are conducting, and at the end of this commutation only valve 3 is conducting. Clear? So upper group in this duration valve 1 3 conducting, from the lower group valve 2 is conducting. So overall the voltage difference between these 2 points during this interval, you get voltage between B and C phase. So you can see that from this point you get this voltage is EA plus EB by 2, but after that you get EBC voltage, because upper group only 3 is conducting, lower group valve 2 is conducting. So B minus C, EB minus EC, you get EBC phase. Same for the next 60 degree. So every 60 degree new commutation happens. So you can draw the waveform of 3-phase full wave converter as a rectification mode with consideration of alpha as well as nu. And this is the conduction period of the valve, and this is the equivalent circuit of the converters. So I hope you understand this operation of HVDC converter as a rectifier mode. First we consider without alpha, without considering overlap. Then we see the with alpha but without commutation overlap. And then finally we see the operation and waveform with consideration of alpha as well as commutation overlap. So here in this lecture you can understand the whole concept of rectifier mode of HVDC converters. So I hope you understand this thing. Thank you.